should be able to record.
Yeah, I learned how to turn on screen sharing last week. And looks like it's set to, one participant can share at a time. Okay, that's good. This week, I think I have more options this week. Huh. And they're advanced sharing options. Oh my God. You can have multiple participants can share simultaneously, Leroy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know how that works.
Probably splits up the screen into two pieces and then other people on the side. Yeah. These guys do good software. This is a Chinese company that wrote this stuff.
Oh, okay. Well, that's fine. Their software actually seems like it works, unlike a lot of the Arduino stuff that comes out of China. That you need to figure out what they were doing.
Yeah, they have a podcast app too that's got a lot of podcasts. If you listen to the radio at all, they got tons of stuff. And now iHeartRadio, I see they're doing a lot of podcasts too.
Yeah.
And the Chinese put pressure on Google to drop that remove Chinese apps. They had to pull that app because the Chinese put pressure on Google. So it looks like some of the big boys are getting a little pressure on them. The Twitter people getting a little pressure on them for their shenanigans.
I haven't used Twitter much during this whole outbreak. Every time I go on Twitter, it just makes me mad.
Yeah, I don't social media. Pretty much stay away from it.
Yeah.
So you got Patty working today?
No, she's out here somewhere. I don't know what she's doing. She was off work today. She's off work Tuesday, I think. And tomorrow, she had a lady tell her that the Monroe garage sales are back on, and they're going to be this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Gail was saying something about that too. We drove by the Kroger warehouse stuff. They've got part of the road blocked off over on 63.
Yeah, for the new thing.
Yeah, and we noticed they got a fence built around a house in front of it. Somebody didn't sell.
No, that guy actually sold the house. Patty knows him. He comes up there to Kroger's. He is, I think she said he was 90 years old. And Kroger sold him the house back for $1. Or rented him the house for $1 for the next 20 years. So I think he got a good deal.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what he paid for or what they paid for it.
Well, they did.
We got 3 participants, it says.
I saw somebody pop up there for a second, and then they disappeared. I don't know who it was. You're still the host, so I think anybody I think you have to let them in or whatever.
Yeah, I got to pay attention. Man.
Yeah, it's hard, isn't it? Yeah, Monroe website says Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, annual garage sale. That's interesting.
Well, Kenny, we probably should let Kenny speak because he's probably not going to come back.
He just sort of disappeared.
Yeah, he's got a hot date on Thursdays. He won't forego the pleasure of our company. Ray's not there. Ray must be working. He was talking about getting back into ham radio stuff and doing some of the ham radio stuff. Whoa.
Yeah.
Doing software.
Yeah.
And doing something like Laura. I don't know if it was Laura or not.
Well, I don't
Very
know
low power.
what he's doing.
Very, very ultra low power. Special antennas.
Is he doing WISP?
I don't know.
That's I think that's what it's called. It's really low power. And it's what they do, they use it to find out how the bands are propagating.
Do they use it for the UHF, VHF, or for HF?
MF and HF is what it says.
Okay. Yeah, he was talking about 1.2 megahertz. 1.2 megahertz is broadcast band, actually. I didn't know if he was talking to gigahertz or megahertz or what. It sounds like he was talking about right above the AM broadcast band. That would be weird.
That's what he's talking about. Yeah, there's an LF mode. It's 190 kilohertz.
Wow.
So it's
right above the broadcast band ends up about 1.6, and 1.6 is, I think, officially out of bounds.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that actually one of the old Radio Shack cordless phones, one of the first ones, had a 1.6 megahertz frequency.
Yeah.
That was weird. That was so weird. I had one. It was sick, but it was pretty reliable. Oh, here comes somebody. There's Ray himself. Now we can hear it from the horse's mouth. He's joining.
It's called Whisper. WSPR. That may be what he's doing. He'll be able to tell us if he comes. Show up, Ray, show up.
It should beep when you have a new member show up in the queue.
Thought mine did. I don't know. They've got an old Raspberry Pi hooked up a couple of the GPIO pins to an antenna. So they're using an old Raspberry Pi to do some of this.
That's bizarre.
Is that Ray, what you're doing? Are you doing Whisper? mode, Ray? Hi, Ray. Are you doing whisper mode? Can't hear
I'm just
you.
not talking loud.
No, whisper mode, ham radio stuff.
Oh, yeah, eventually. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. We figured it out. I figured it out. I know stuff sometimes. Not really.
He was having to talk to me, and of course I didn't know exactly what you were talking about, so looks like we did figure it out. Looks like he did figure it out anyway. How's it going, Ray?
Good. Not a lot going really.
Looks like you're in the office.
Yeah, I'm in the office right now.
Cool. So did you find out anything about the power outage? You were out too, weren't you, Ray?
Yeah, but it wasn't anything crazy. So no big deal.
Ours lasted a little while.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
We didn't get stable power until about 6:45 or so. Our power kept coming on and going off.
Yeah, it was just minutes really for me. Yeah, like I said, it wasn't really anything big at all.
Yeah. Well, by the time it actually came on and stayed on, all the hard drives had to be scanned and everything, so I was stuck doing that.
Oh, cool.
We put in your meeting announcements, we put a little ditty in there about Rabbit Laser.
I appreciate it. That's awesome.
I sent you a note.
I got it, but you know me, I work so much I didn't even think about it.
Yeah, as long as you got it, that's.
You want me to respond? I'll reply to your email right now. Oh.
Leroy sent me a
You
mail
got no
message.
idea. I've been so busy.
Leroy sent me an email last week, and I ignored it and came on up here. And then I sent you a text this morning, Leroy. Did you get it?
I did. I texted you back.
Yeah, it's the black hole on this end. I don't stay closely associated with my phone as I should, I guess. So if you email me, I may get to you. I miss email, so I'm just bad altogether.
10 a.m. I said, it's on and working.
Oh, okay. So Vicente was on a little earlier, Ray, and he's developed his own little world of circuits and stuff. It's interesting. He's kind of developed a kind of sort of brand name and color coding for all his little circuits that he's developing. It's interesting.
He'll be back in business real soon.
Yeah.
He'll be
What do you mean by back in business?
He's like semi-retired, isn't he?
Yeah, he's rich, right? I think compared to the average life in Venezuela, he's doing pretty good.
Yeah.
So
if you managed to get out of Venezuela, that's pretty successful in itself.
Yeah.
He owned several businesses in Venezuela. I guess he still does. But
he's not.
Oh, okay. Somebody
Oh,
keeps
yeah, speaking of the devil, here he comes. He's coming in, guys.
Yeah, we say his name too many times.
Yeah.
There he is.
Hey, guy.
Hi.
Yeah, he was showing us the boards when we got jumped from the website. from the monitor software.
This is the boards. Can you see it now?
Yep.
I have another board. Is this board? I showed it last week. Let me check here for share. I will share my screen.
Say, may I please share the screen, Mr. James?
Give me permission, please.
I thought I gave it to everybody. One participant can share at a time.
You've got
You should be enabled.
It says host is disabled.
I have a visitor.
Multiple participants? There, I turned it to multiple participants can do it. No? Okay.
Let me share.
Yeah, you can share
Okay, now, okay. Last week I showed this board. This board is to use with different development boards, Arduinos or whatever, to connect to the pins and show the status of the pins. But the idea is you can split this board in two places. You see this line of holes and this other line of holes. So you can break the board, but also you need to define which one will be the common. If you want ground, for example, in all the common is ground, you need to use a couple of 0 ohms jumpers in this place, and you have ground here, and then eight LEDs to indicate the status of 8 pins. You see?
Mm-hmm.
The back of the board, you make a mark in the color of the LED you are using: red, green, blue, yellow, orange, or white, to know the color, because usually the surface mount LEDs have the same color. Doesn't matter what color you are using. The lens are all transparent, so it's a good idea to have a way to signal which color you have in the board. Yesterday, the boards arrived. Those are the tiny boards for the LEDs. So you can design any array of common anode or common cathode LEDs, and decide where you want the ground or where you want the power to create a logic indicator of your pinout or your board. I will make some example for the next week to show how to use it. I also will assemble several candy arms boards.
Now you have a wave solder machine?
Yeah, no, reflow oven. It's a reflow oven for surface mount. I order stencils for the solder pads, to put the solder pads over all the tiny pads, and then use a small tweezers, or
yes,
put all the components by hand, and then put it in the oven, in the reflow oven, and the oven has a profile of temperature that you can program the profile and solder all the components in the board. I did a lot of experiments to put it on working, and It's working pretty well now. It's pretty easy. Just put the components and open the drawer of the oven, put the board there, push a button, and in 15 minutes you have a solder board, a new board. Easy.
How is the solder applied?
How is the solder?
Applied. How do you put the solder on the joints?
I use a foil of stainless steel with holes to make a screen printing of the solder paste in the board.
Okay.
I put a tiny like a paint of solder paste in all the pads, and then you.
Jim, have you ever seen solder paste go on through a stencil onto a circuit board?
No.
Yeah, you can check in YouTube. There are a lot of samples.
Okay.
The good thing is that the solder paste acts like a glue also, because you put the components and they stay in place.
Oh, okay.
Actually, I drop a board before I put in the oven. It drops to the floor, and all the components stay in the same place, luckily, I think. And then just go to the oven and solder everything.
I've seen chip placement machines run, and the rolls of components they put in the machine to insert them. That was 30 years ago, and but they were wave soldering back in those days. Hey.
Oh.
But
Hi. No, you're fine. Hi.
Oh, yeah.
My
But yeah, I'm a few years behind. That's what everybody tells me anyway. So how long is it going to take you to get all those done, Vicente?
well, maybe I spend like 10
No,
minutes, 10 minutes,
They're over here.
10 minutes for each
I'm
board.
also looking for a solder paste video.
okay.
Let me show the solder paste in the board. Before, this is inside the oven. This is the board inside the oven. Do you see the solder paste?
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Is this tiny gray things. They become shiny after the soldering. You see? This is
Okay, so you put a mask over it, and is it spray on?
it's a screen printing thing. You put all the solder masks, all the solder cream in the board, and then put the components using the solder cream as a retainer. And after everything is soldered, everything becomes shiny, and it's done. Let me show a solder board. No, just a second. This is a solder board. You need to clean it after with alcohol or something, sometimes. You can have this in 10 minutes of assembly plus 15 minutes in the reflow oven. 15 minutes because I used to wait to the temperature go to 60 degrees or something, but you can have the board solder in 3 minutes, and you can just take it out and use some blower or something to down the temperature quickly. But I rather want to go slowly in the cooling and wait maybe 10, 15 minutes to have the board ready. This is. So, so this is the new board will be black. I have, I don't know. It's funny because you can order maybe 25 boards for $5, and you can order 100 boards for $8, and you can order how many you want for just a fraction of the shipping, you know? So, because this is like a prototype or something, I better just be cautious. I order 25. There are 25 here. 25 boards.
Wow.
Actually, I don't have the parts for 25, but we assembling them. But today I'll be assembling this, the computer, the ruler, the kickback ruler. This will take a little bit longer. I already have all the components in the small bins.
Do you have one of those big magnifying glasses on a?
Yeah.
Okay.
I use this.
Okay. Ah.
$25 in Amazon. You have right here.
Starting to look like my dentist. Oh yeah.
Well, that's it.
I found that out on the ground. That little what do they call those things? It's a magnifying glass. I found it outside.
The Fresnel lens, is what they call
Yeah,
that?
that's what it's called. It was just laying out one day. I was like, oh, that's cool. Didn't know what to do with it, but I thought it was cool. Now it's in my workbench.
So back to my previous question, you put the mask over it and does this paste spray on, or I assume it sprays on with the aerosol. Okay, when you put the solder on, put your mask over and you mask everything you don't want to put the solder paste on. You spray it then?
No, you know how is screen printing when you make logos in your t-shirts or something?
It goes on like toothpaste.
Oh, okay. It goes on before you put the components on.
It's a paste, you know, and put over the screen, and you go across the board, put it using a credit card. In my case, I use a credit card to move the solder paste over the board using the screen mask. The screen mask.
Before, okay, here's the key. You do this before you put the components on.
Exactly.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
That was my problem. I was putting the components on first.
No.
Yeah, in the old days, that's what they were doing.
No.
Okay, I got it. It makes sense now.
Yeah.
Even I understand.
No, it's easy, you know. It's a matter of practice.
So this is how people are creating circuit boards for nothing these days.
Yeah.
Mass producing.
You also can use like a tiny shrink or something to put drops instead of screen printing. You can use your hand and put drops of solder paste in each pad.
Oh, okay.
But it's too much work, too much. Yeah. And the screen costs $7. Each screen costs $7, and the shipping is like 17. So each time I ask for a board, I used to ask for the screen printing also, the mask, the solder mask screen.
Uh-oh. Ray's loaded.
So.
No.
I used to be lazy to do that because I rather use my breadboard stuff, See, I always work with breadboards, but lately I am become very skillful in using KiCad, the PCB software. So in a matter of 5 days, I have the final board. So I am making PCBs instead of work with the breadboards. I use the breadboards to check some functionality, but not to make the full assembly.
So what you got, Ray?
Okay, so having a little bit of trouble hearing you. Maybe it's because my
You are now driving. What happened? Where is your car, your truck?
Oh, sorry. I was gonna put a video behind me to show like I was driving down the road.
Okay.
But I couldn't get the video loaded fast enough. I was like, I just give up. So I was like, I'll just stick to the normal thing. And you're talking about boards, and I was like, okay, I went and found a sexy girl on a surfboard.
Too boring, but okay.
I was like, whatever. So this is more interesting, right?
Yeah.
So in the past 2 weeks, I've been looking at some auction stuff going on, and it's a medical startup business that they failed during the COVID-19, and it went to auction, and there was benches and arbitrary waveform generator and a whole bunch of other stuff. I got some Cisco routers, and so I bought 5 Cisco routers for $45, and they're worth like $120 each. They are amazing, even compared to my standard Ubiquiti system. These routers are amazing. Brand new, I think they're like $230 for the routers, and I paid $5 for them. So Leroy, hats off to you. Like, you really, that's the kind of steal that I get. I'm thinking Leroy would love me right now. He's really proud. And
you wouldn't have gotten them that cheap if Leroy knew about them.
Nah. So this is a Rigel oscilloscope, and I think I've showed you guys some different oscilloscopes before. But this is a 4-channel scope, and as it is right now, it's 50 megahertz. But this is like the most popular oscilloscope on the internet for being modified.
Yeah.
So you can actually take this version 1054Z,
go to 100,
and it pops you up to 100. Vicente, do you have one of these?
No, mine is a Siglin. I show you.
Oh, you have a Siglent?
Yeah.
Okay. It's still 4-channel. How much did you pay for yours?
A
lot.
400 something, like close.
Okay. So
but
on auction,
I was checking a lot to make a decision. I check a lot. I have several oscilloscopes, but I like this Siglent. I like it.
$25. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I was gonna do.
Wait for me. Wait for me.
What?
I'm going to Middletown. I'm going to Middletown. How many?
So this is the only one they had. I paid $250 for it, but still,
nice, nice. Yeah.
Normally it's like $450, $90.
Yeah.
But I am going to be doing the modification to it, pump it up to 100 megahertz, 4-channel. I've got one that's a 1052D, And the 1052D, it's only 2-channel, it's only 50 megahertz, but that's still more than we need for most of the stuff that we're doing with Arduino and our
Yeah,
small.
yeah.
But the D version means that it has an expanded data bus that you can look at the digital values on, I think, 16 different lines. So if you're not looking at analog, you're just looking at the digital on-offs, that data bus analyzer is really neat. I'm probably going to end up keeping both of these two oscilloscopes, and I'll probably sell off my Tektronix. And
But you know what? I did some research, and finally I decided that my logic analyzer will be outside of my oscilloscope. You know, it's better to have your logic analyzer plug in your computer instead of in your oscilloscope. It's more easy to use. You see all the protocol analyzer and everything clearly instead of using a tiny screen. Or
once you convert this one over to, it's like putting in a product key and stuff, and it changes it. I think it's all software really to open up all the variable information. So it makes it 100 megahertz. It opens up all the SPI bus analyzer, the serial port analyzer, whole bunch of stuff, and it's like the most famous hacks that are being done to some of this equipment. Another cool thing on the back of here, like you were talking about, you prefer to have it separated, but this does have a Ethernet jack and a USB jack, as well as having a USB stick interface in the front. So that's all really cool. More toys to play with and to understand what we're building and designing, right?
yes, a good device.
Hey, I think I got the #1 thing for the week. I got to show Leroy his face, his mouth just dropped. I thought, wow, okay.
I've been looking at those on eBay. I saw a couple of them for, they weren't that model, but I saw a couple of them for around 170, and I was like, maybe not.
Yeah, I got a Tektronix you can buy from me.
Leroy, stop buying MC5, M5 robots. Buy an oscilloscope, a real one.
Buy an oscilloscope.
That Tektronix was expensive, and then I've got. Did you guys see I don't even remember how many I brought in. I should, whenever we get all back together, I think I'm gonna bring in like a whole bunch of oscilloscopes.
You brought a bunch of them in.
I have a Tektronix in the basement, but it's an old one without any this kind of protocol decoders and this nothing. It's just a single scope, but a single color monochrome. But it's nice. It works pretty nice.
Back when I was 16 years old, I had a oscilloscope that was this big, and the frame was only this big. It was like a 15 megahertz. I bought it for $30 out of a garage sale. Nobody knew what it was. And I was proud to have that thing. It was all analog. It was crazy. I learned a lot about it, you know.
I was looking at it. You know how eBay is, and it just popped up one day that it was there, and I was like, oh, that's actually getting into the affordability range.
Yeah, they're on circuitspecialist.com. I think my computer is listening to me because it popped that right up on my Google Chrome.
Your computer's possessed.
I think it is. It was listening to what I said, and it popped it right up.
I know we're getting close to being out of time, so.
Anyway, I think it's called a Handtech.
Yeah. 200
megahertz. I brought one of those. It's not the portable version, but I do have a portable version, and I got a few of these things, man. But they had these 200 megahertz ones on sale for like $200, $299, something like that. And the prices have gone up since then. So it's still a really, really nice scope. But you know,
That may have been the one that I saw on eBay. It was a name that I didn't recognize, but it was
well, Handtech
it
is really
basically
trying to
looked
do a
like
pretty good
it looked
scope.
like what you had, only it was a 2-channel instead of a 4-channel.
Yeah, these things are pretty common nowadays. You know what I would like is a portable waveform generator that I could simulate a stepper motor command. I'd love to do that. Like how fast I could send it out and then coming back. That way I can actually control a stepper amplifier and moving the stepper motor back and forth without actually having to put it onto a motion controller. I made one on an Arduino like a couple years ago, but I don't remember nothing about it nowadays. Anybody else got any cool projects going on? I missed.
We saw there's a article in the news clip that talks about a 3D scanner from a Raspberry Pi that might be interesting to Leroy or somebody like that. There's 10 top projects of 2019.
I need to go buy more Raspberry Pis.
Yeah, obviously
I'm
they
just
got new
them all
models
up.
coming out. Oh my God.
I got a Pi Zero and probably 2 or 3 more Pis. I don't know that I've ever had any of them up and running very well.
I've got Nextcloud on one. I've got
Bye, babe.
a website running on one. I've got a media server running on one.
What can I do with it?
No, I can't see the server.
Okay. Can't see the server. Is there no
I
reason?
can't do any quotes.
I got my my network drives sharing thingy-mabob finally set up. It's finally actually working the way it's supposed to.
I see we got Pago going there, Ray, huh? Pays up front for your assistance.
Yeah, Carol's saying, can you come fix my computer? I'm Mr. Tech Support.
There
Paid
you
for
go.
with a kiss.
Yeah, she comes up front. I like that. I like that. That's the way it goes.
Come fix my PC.
That one's running a Jabber XMP, XMPP server. And that one boots right up into a Commodore 64.
That's sick. Sickness. I hope you got the tape recorder to record back up your programs.
Yeah, all on SD card now. 53 seconds.
All right, guys, we got about a minute. Anything else?
That's all I got.
All righty. We'll see you guys next
Hurry.
week.
All right. We'll see you next week.